Es ist vielleicht den Zweier noch mal einen tiefer, aber es ist viel heller geworden. Wunderbar.
Well, you've gone up from 5 and 7 to 5 and 9. That's the way it is, I'm afraid. It does vary quite a bit. We're just going to wind you up and say, well, no one you can't hear anything with your rubbishy gear, but I don't think I better venture there. Let's drop that little makes you +5, so the RF has obviously increased on the band. Very, very good. Okay, let's off the hook. This is one of those days that I shall put down as a bad hair day. If I was at the observatory, it would have been no problem to have picked up Bruce or anyone else because there's 0 noise levels out there. But I am occasionally affected by it. I'm assuming it might be solar noise I've got in there today.
I mean, you know, I don't mind these kind of guys, you know, the amateur radio hams, but ain't it boring? Is it just me? You know, all it is about, oh yeah, your signal, yeah, you know, you're 5/9, oh yeah, yeah, blah, blah, this, blah. They don't really, you know, talk about anything, do they? It's not like, you know, on CB when you, oh, hey, how you doing, buddy? How's this? How's that? It's just all about their signals and the conditions and...
Okay, I'll just go back for the final. I waited, I left the pause just for the signal to die down. I've got X1 of noise here. I've got X1 of noise, so I haven't got your problem. But there we are, that's the way it is. You've got another caller, so there you go. Pas d'élévateur, bien sûr, là. Mais bon, comme a dit tout à l'heure Michel, il faut l'entendre.
On peut tous constater des différences entre les profs en fonction de leur âge biologique.
Oui, oui, oui. Ma prof...
সুখবর শুনে যখন জ্বর বা পানি আসে তখন সেই সময় তো সমস্যাটা নয়, সুতরাং সেইটাকে
So there you go, a little bit of shortwave. It's nice to know that shortwave's still up and running on the FM. You always get the aircraft coming over to Luton Airport. Wasn't that a song? Luton Airport, I think it was, wasn't it?
Man for Route 35. My name is Bihi and you are bus controller now. But please, I remind you, no major delays for the route today. And this route is a high frequency, please watch your MDT. If you are too close to your leader, please gradually slow down till you're making 5 bars. And also, both sides, please...
Back on the old buses again. So what else is new up in the shack, if you call it? Well, there is something new actually. If I tune this to an odd frequency, see this little power supply here, yeah, this little Fusion twin power supply. Pick this up on eBay, really cheap. I think it was just over 30 UK pounds, because I had the small little burner there that I sort of picked up. I sort of, you know, I realised that I was going to need to use a little bit more power than the 4 and the 12 watts that the Grant 2 put out. So I picked up the little burner. Then of course I got a few of these sort of power supplies, these Bremy ones and a couple of other ones that were left over from the day, and of course they're only rated at 3 amps. So I then needed something a little bit more powerful, and this one is rated up to 19 amps, and it's also a dual output. So I bought this with the idea that it runs the burner, and in all fairness, you know, as you can see there, it does run the burner. However, because it's quite cheap, it's also very noisy on RF. And you can see that if I go to the scale there, hopefully the camera can pick it up on the Yaesu. There you go, switch it on. Straight away you've got 3 to 4, S3 to S4 pounds of noise. and that remains all the way through the frequencies. In fact, when you get higher, sort of up near the 10-11 meter band, it gets worse. And it also on upper and lower sideband on the Grant 2 it increase, and it's the, you know, it's not what you're trying to, it's not what you want, because when you're, you know, when you're sort of upper and lower sideband, you need every bit of signal that you can get, and especially with my hearing loss as well. You know, I'm on headphones and I need, so to counteract that, I was put onto eBay quite recently, and I picked up these two power supplies. Now these aren't radio power supplies, these are server power supplies for computers, and these put out these are regulated, they're adjustable via inside, and these have been set to around about 14 volts, and they have a maximum 15 amps, but I think they're linear. I think they produce that 15 amps. I was talking to Sean on Skype and he was explaining it to me. I don't want to sound too technically minded here, but I think these put out a steady 15 amps. So I've got a couple of these little power supplies, really cheap. These were delivered about £24. I can try and pull one out without dragging everything away here. Let's get one of these things out. And do you know that they're really quite heavy? It's quite surprising actually how heavy and weighty these were. So I saw these on eBay, £18 plus delivery. So I quickly googled the type number in, and I forget the make. It begins with an M. Anyway, what I found out was that these power supplies are still current. They're still being sold on eBay for, depending on which type you want, for £345 up to about £460. And I was pretty shocked at that, but I did see what I will actually do. What happens is, I'm sorry, I'm starting to waffle. What I want to do here, I mean, these obviously, they're really quite good. You've got two different outputs here, but there's no switch. These are things designed to run 24/7. There's no switch on them, and also there's no cooling. You've just got this sort of like grill going all the way around, because this was designed to sort of sit in a server rack, which would have big fans blowing across. So I will do a updated video probably on the vlog as well, because I want to fit just a little illuminated switch in there, just so I can switch the mains on and off. And I may or may not have to fit a cooling fan, probably not, because I won't be pulling 15 amps out of these all the time. So I'm quite made up, and the best thing is when I plug these in, and then I compare the actual signal strength scale on a Yaesu, not a thing, not a peep out of them. They are completely RF free. No noise comes out of them at all. And they're very well made. You've even got a little filter there, a little choke. Can you see that? In the mains lead. So yeah, that's something that's quite good. And as I say, we were using one up here. I'll go do away with both of those power supplies and just use the dual output on that one. And in this one, I will be more and more thinking about taking this one away on holiday to power probably a 10 meter rig, which I haven't purchased yet. That's going to be sort of late August, and this will be able, because a 10 meter rig, they tend to put out 40 to 60 watts straight out the box, which is great, which means you don't have to, you know, use a burner or anything like that, which is what I want for compactness, and but they do require quite a bit of juice, and also its size factor as well. I mean, you can get sort of proper linear amplifiers for CB radios, ham radios, but they're huge bricks, breeze blocks, whereas these are quite small. So yeah, and they're heavy as well. There we go, get that back in there. So quite pleased with those. CB itself, well, as you can see, all the time I've been talking, I've been scanning on UK FM and not a signal at all. And it is working. Nothing at all. Just a little bit background noise. I have been chatting with my friend Steve Stevens from CB UK on his way. I can get him on his way from work. He works in Kings Langley and he drives to Luton, and I can pick him up for about sort of 15 minutes. So I have been having a little chat with him. But that's about it. It's been a little bit bleak, to be honest. But you know, that's how CB is at the moment. You know, we hope it picks up. Whether it ever will, you know, I don't know, to be honest. Can't really do a lot more. You know, I might get my antenna that little bit. I might get that a little bit higher once the winter starts coming. So, you know, at the moment people are going to start. The weather's changing. It's sort of June. It's been raining most of today and yesterday, to be honest. But as the weather changes, people will be getting their sort of barbecues out. So I don't want to be out there whacking the air up any higher than it is. But yeah, so you know, CB radio's what it is really. So, although CB hasn't been quite so hot recently, you know, one door closes and another one slams in your face. Well, it does sometimes, doesn't it? No, I didn't mean that. Well, one door closes and another door opens. And thanks to Sean, I've been sort of doing a little bit of PMR scanning now. And you'll see that on the little Sean's radio there. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. That's the standard Bofang radio. And I've now got a another antenna. This is I think I forget what it's called now. This one is a NA771. It's like the diamond antenna that comes quite highly recommended, but it's sort of like a Chinese rip-off. It's a mid-priced area. It's not the most expensive. It's not the most. It's not the sort of cheapest either. But also, looking around, digging around the loft, I came across these, and I almost forgot I had these. These are little Binatones MR200s, little 500 milliwatt PMR radios. And I bought these way back in the day, thinking about 1998. I used to take these camping when I went camping with the lads, and then years later, when sort of went about to 2003, I suppose, we went camping when I was with Jenny and the kids. And we used to have these with the kids, and the kids sort of went off to do their thing around the sort of park and everything. We used to give them one of these radios, and yeah, they worked sort of quite well. I mean, you got very little range out of these. Even in the open, I think you only got about half a mile maximum. But yeah, they still work. I mean, the rubber on the little rubber ducky antenna there was starting to go for it, sort of brittle in, so I had to just bodge it up with a little bit of tape. But they're quite good for just testing Sean's radio out, and they sort of work sort of quite fine. So yeah, PMR radio. I have, you know, picked up sort of quite a few sort of people that's bouncing about. I've got the squelch turned very low at the moment, so it's picking up a little bit of background noise. But what I found is that so it appears that motorcyclists with their pinion passengers have PMR built into the headsets of their motorcycle helmets, because I've picked up quite a few motorcyclists, and also some poor old lady that was walking to the paper shop in the rain and was calling back home to find out if hubby what newspaper hubby wanted today. it's real riveting stuff, I tell you, around these streets, guys. But you know, that's what it is. And but I'm quite tempted to sort of, you can make on the internet now, you can make a little PMR little dipole antenna, which isn't too big. I'm quite tempted to stick one outside, maybe up on the Antron pole, and just increase the range and see what's about. It's sort of something to do, isn't it, really? Anyway, so there you go. That's what's been going on up in the shack. Nothing sort of too exciting at the moment. A lot of projects to do. I will get round to them eventually. SDR down there. Little SDR box. Must admit, it's been a little bit quiet on the SDR front. I need to sort of get back into that. Now it's sort of summertime, I sort of tend to sort of want to be outside. It's quite nice and sort of warm, so nothing much really on the SDR. That's probably more of a it's a winter thing. And but yeah, we need to get back to that. Anyway, I'm going to sort of sign this little part of the video off now, because you're going to get pretty bored with this. So this is Fred in the attic on his shack, just talking to the camera. Nobby no mates, as normal. Cheers, guys.
Around, round, turn left.
behind our unit, right behind our shop. And just come to a gentle stop. That'll do, mate. Go straight. Just give us a sec, because what I'll do is I'm going to stick that bike straight into its shed. Okay. So yeah, you can pop it neutral, switch off, jump off if you want.